Well, hello, boys and girls. It's your favourite grumpy granny from Grogu's Patch. I'm back again today, and I've had a bit of a break from YouTube. Wasn't feeling 100% last week, had a bit of an asthma, cough, things up. My apologies for that. And then we had technical difficulties with the live on last Thursday, but all's back on board again today. So if you haven't seen it already, you can actually catch up with the replay of this morning's live stream. It's available now. So, yeah, just go and check that out. So today, what are we going to talk about? Well, I don't know whether you have or have not seen the Disgruntled Octopus's latest reaction video. And it's entitled, "This Octopus Does Not Like Resellers." Yeah, a bit of a take on the reaction video that he did, which was the Aussie Flippers' latest video. Well, not his latest video, one of his latest videos where he actually talked about how he wasn't happy with how he was dealt with in one of the stores. So let's just have a little look at the start of this.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Octo Reacts with everyone's favourite reselling octopus, me, the Disgruntled Octopus. Hello. And today we're actually turning our steely gaze across to another egotistical maniac in the reselling space, Maddie the Aussie Flipper. So Maddie, like me, is trying to take over the world through reselling. So we're looking at his latest video regarding an altercation that he had at the Salvation Army up there on the Gold Coast. Spoiler alert. Probably, I don't necessarily agree with the way he handled himself. We do have a bit of a discrepancy between, I suppose, the way that Matty handled himself and how I would recommend you handle yourself in that situation. But hey, look, I wasn't there at the time, so I can't comment on that. I'm only commenting on what his video portrayed. And they always say there's two sides to a story. So what we'll do is have a look. I've cut up.
Right, so that gives you a bit of an idea of what the go is, right? So I thought I'm not going to actually go into the actual incident because Octo's already done that and you can watch that on his channel. I'll put the link in the description below for you to watch. And this is not a personal shot at Maddie from the Aussie Flipper at all. This is just my interpretation of how we should be portraying ourselves as resellers. I guess one of the interesting things for me has been some of the comments that have come out, both on the Aussie Flipper and on Octo's channel on both of those videos. And the overwhelming consensus was that perhaps that he did do the wrong thing. And I agree. I think so. The situation was there were 3 bags of dolls. Each bag had 3 or 4 dolls in them. I'm not quite sure how many, but let's say 3. So there were 3 bags of 3 dolls, and they were $7 each. Each of those bags had a Monster High doll. Now, I don't care what rock you think you're buried under, but anyone in the reselling community, even if you don't sell dolls, you know Monster High. You will have heard somewhere around the traps that Monster High stuff sells really well. And so a Monster High doll has good resale value. And there was 1 Monster High doll in every bag, which, look, that's the best way to do it. And you would put one good thing in with a couple of lesser good things, like so maybe a Disney doll and a Barbie doll, etc., either side of your Monster High doll. What Matt wanted to do was take each Monster High doll, so the bags were $7 each. So he wanted to take 1 doll out of each bag, the Monster High dolls, and buy that for the cost of one of the bags. So he wanted to take the 3 Monster High dolls and buy them for $7. And that was the issue. I guess that wasn't actually the issue itself. The issue was more how he handled himself after that. But I just want to talk about that particular situation for a start. Because if you go into an op shop, look, we all do it when we bundle things. We will put a good DVD with some bad DVDs. We will put, if we're bundling clothes, we will put a good brand pair of jeans with some bad, not so great brand jeans. Books, same thing. We'll put a good title book with a couple of not so great books that are how they're going to resell. Everyone does it. It's smart business sense. So why wouldn't the op shops do it, or the charity shops, thrift stores, whatever you like to call them? Same thing. looking at the value of what they were and knowing that I myself personally, if I'd gone in there and seen 3 bags for $7 each, and each of those bags had a Monster High doll in them, I would have bought those 3 bags because I would have got the value back. You would have essentially been paying $7 for your Monster High doll, but there was still a couple of other dolls, and who knows, there could have been a vintage Barbie in there or something. You then bundle all your Barbies together and sell them in a big lot, or donate them back to the shop. Say, I'll buy these 3 bags. They might have even given you a discount if you'd said that. Buy these 3 bags. I'll take the ones I want out, and here, you take the others back and repackage them with something else for next time. Simple, easy. I guess when we come out and because we're not getting our way with a discount, do you ask for discounts in an op shop, in a charity shop? A lot of people don't. I generally don't. When I say I generally don't, there are a couple of op shops that I have developed relationships with because I've gotten to know them. I go in there on a regular basis and they've made it quite open with me, and I've talked about it with them, that they are happy to sell me items in bulk at a lower price. So in one instance, one of those places with clothing, most of their clothing is $5. However, because when I go in there, and I would generally go in there, say, once every 2 months because it's a single little independent op shop. But when I go in there, I go in there on a timely basis where there's usually enough changeover and stuff. There's lots of new stock for me to choose from. And because I buy so much when I'm in there, like I could spend a couple of $100 in there, they will actually reduce the price of those down to $3. And that's fine because we have that sort of agreement, and I just give them a reminder that I'll just say to them, oh, look, you're still going to do that bulk pricing deal. If they say no, they say no. I probably just won't buy as much because I'd have to be a little bit more careful with some of the lower end items that I picked. And the other one is there is a Vinnie store that's quite close to me. They used to sell their kids' books really cheap, like $5 for $1, and they used to sell their paperbacks like for $1 and their hardcovers for $2. And then all of a sudden, like a lot of the Vinnies, the prices have gone through the roof. Now some of the hardcovers are like $4 or $5, and I can't pay that. And even the kids' books might be $2 or $3 that I was getting before for either 50 cents or 20 cents. And I can't do that either because a lot of the kids' stuff you want to bundle. So I have an agreement with them so that when I go in there, they'll generally, they'll put the kids' books back down to, say, depending on what they are, and I'll be fair with them because, if I pick up something like a Goosebumps, I'm happy to pay the 50 cents. But then other stuff I would only want to pay 20 cents for. So they will do me a bulk deal on those prices, and generally they'll do the paperbacks, say, for $1 and the hardcovers for $2, which brings them back down to a more normal price for me. But as I said, they're stores I've developed a relationship with that I go in there regularly. I'm certainly, not going to, you need to develop that relationship before you start doing that, start asking for discounts and things. One of the things I will say to keep in mind is a lot of the times the op shops do need to turn over their stock. And if they're not turning it over quickly enough, or maybe they've got excess of a particular line of stuff, whether that's clothing, whether that's depending on what you're selling, and if you've got an open mind, maybe they have an excess of DVDs at the moment. Maybe they have an excess of coffee cups, Just have a chat to them and see what they've got. Have you got lots of stuff that you would like to kind of get rid of in bulk? And have a chat with them, develop that relationship. Maybe at some point, whether it's today, whether it's next week, whether it's next month, they may say to you, look, we have got a whole heap of, let them know what you sell. We have got a whole heap of DVDs at the moment. We just don't have room for them, but we would be happy. Would you like to take a whole heap of them? And they'll probably do you a really good deal. So it's worth having that chat with them. I will say that. So that's point number 1. Point number 2 is that sometimes we need to have a look at ourselves, and in this instance, I think for Matty, maybe it's a great time for him to actually look at the comments and not so much get his back up about the comments that he received on his channel and stick down and be defensive about them and say, no, it's a bigger issue, blah, 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 and have a look at what people are saying. Because, and this is nothing personally against Matty because I don't know him personally, Matt, but he's a tall guy. He's like way over 6 foot tall. A lot of the people that he's coming across in the op shops are like me, old grannies, little old grannies, short little old grannies. They're going to be looking up at him like this. That alone can feel a little bit intimidating. And if he's got a slightly arrogant attitude or is coming across in that way, then yeah, he may not be meaning to, but he may be coming across as being, intimidating to these people that are working in there. And I think that's something we need to consider, because if we're whizzing in and out and regularly going into these op shops and portraying this, even myself, I can go in there with a really confident attitude and I know what I'm doing and blah, 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 blah. You don't want to do that. You want to go in there with a really nice attitude, make sure you speak to everyone, say hello, compliment people. There's one guy I know that in my local Selvos who quite often he'll have this really different sorts of hats he wears. And it just makes me laugh. And I always comment on his hat when I go in there and it's great. Talk about the weather. Oh, it's a bit chilly today, isn't it? Or it's raining outside, or it doesn't matter what, but just chat to people and be friendly with people. And you will get yourself a lot further as a reseller than if you do portray yourself just because we are full-time, regardless of whether you're full-time or part-time. But especially I think if you are a full-time reseller and this is your job, think about the professionalism that you're portraying. You do not need to go into the op shop and behave like I am a professional reseller. I know better than everyone else. I need a bargain. Don't just, these are volunteers most of the time that you're dealing with, unless you're actually talking to the paid managers, which most of the time you're not, because the people behind the counter are going to be the volunteers. And they're giving up their time to raise money for their charities. So think about that and think about the attitude that you are giving. So sometimes it's really good to actually have a look at yourself and how you are going to be portrayed if you go into one of these op shops. And Octo, that probably goes for you too, being 8 foot tall and a giant orange octopus. Could be a little bit intimidating to some of the things. I'm glad you've got a relationship with some of your op shop ladies. But yeah, that's just what I want to say, Shay. So just be mindful of that. And I think regardless of who you're dealing with, keep it nice. Smile on your face. Happy. And, personally, don't ask for discounts in the thing. Look, I mean, a lot of the op shops have loyalty cards anyway, so you can get your discount then. Like even Savers, for example, you can go and make a donation on your way in. You get a 20% voucher on your first $100. So all those things are the ways that you can get it. Selvos, for example, have a card where, it adds up points. Same with, depending on how much you sell, same with Vinnies. I just let that accrue. And then when there's something that I really want that is above my normal price range, but I really think it's worth it, I'll use my discount then. And that's how I'll get it cheaper. That makes it worthwhile for me. I won't actually ask them for a discount, as I said, unless it's in those instances where I've already developed the relationships and already sorted out a bulk deal. So that is it today, boys and girls. Just thought that was something that really needed mentioning. And, shout out to His Highness the Octopus. Octo. Yeah. Great reaction video, I thought. One of his best yet. Handled it very well, and I think gave a really good overview. Took out unnecessary bits, like he condensed the parts of Maddie's video that he showed. So if you want to watch the full Maddie video to see how he did react, then go over there and make up your own mind as to whether you think, he did the right thing or the wrong thing in the way he handled himself. Personally, I would handle myself very differently. And, yeah, a lot of other people felt the same. So I just wanted to put that out there. So I thank you for joining me today. And, again, apologies for missing a lot of last week. Feel free to come across to the Discord if you haven't already. We had an amazing book club this week. And we will be actually starting from next week introducing some other areas of reselling other than books on the Tuesday nights call. So there will be some information about that coming out here, right, on my YouTube channel. Tomorrow. Yeah, it will.